Listening to JD Vance vows retribution on liberal institutions after Charlie Kirk killing. A news story written by Kat Zakrzewski and Michael Birnbaum and read by an AI-generated voice. Vice President JD Vance vowed to dismantle institutions on the left that he said promote violence and terrorism, denouncing two of the country's most prominent liberal foundations in the aftermath of the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Vance called out the generous tax treatment that George Soros's Open Society Foundations and the Ford Foundation receive as he accused the groups of funding a disgusting article in The Nation magazine that he said was used to justify Kirk's death. Vance's effort to link the two foundations to the article appears to be inaccurate. The Ford Foundation last provided a grant to The Nation for an internship program in 2019, but has not provided money since, according to online records. Bhaskar Sunkara, the president of The Nation, said on X that the publication had never received funds from the Open Society Foundations. Vance's office, asked about his accusation, provided a link to a report about The Nation by a conservative group, which in turn cited a 2017 report about Open Society Foundation's grants. Vance blamed an incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism for contributing to the killing, which remains under investigation. The suspect in Kirk's shooting had a leftist ideology, but the motive for the slaying remains unclear. Utah Governor Spencer Cox, Republican, said Sunday, "There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination," Vance said, raising his voice during a broadcast from the White House on Kirk's podcast, which he hosted. "There is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagreed." The White House is compiling a list of left-wing organizations that it says are tied to political violence, but it has not yet decided what action to take against those groups, according to a senior White House official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the developing plans. One option under consideration is trying to strip the organizations of their tax-exempt status, the official said. The official cited violence at pro-Gaza protests and the firebombing of Tesla car dealerships as examples of violence that the administration was investigating. Vance also told listeners of the show that they have a role to play in responding to Kirk's murder. "When you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out," Vance said. "And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we believe in civility. There is no civility in the celebration of political assassination." Vance called on Kirk's followers to get involved, further enhancing the role he has taken on leading the MAGA movement's mourning for the fiery political activist. In addition to honoring the memory of a friend, Vance's rapid moves to publicly associate himself with Kirk could cement his position as the political heir to the movement that Kirk created, which is one of the most powerful currents in Republican politics. That could prove valuable to the vice president as he tries to consolidate his position as the leading candidate for the Republican nomination in 2028. With a chyron that identified him as a longtime friend of Kirk, Vance spent 2 hours interviewing Kirk's friends and administration officials about the legacy of the man who founded a political empire that has pushed young Americans to the right. "We have to build upon it. We have to add to it. We have to make sure that the next generation of young people feels confident and courageous to speak their mind and to speak the truth," Vance said on a stream that had more than 800,000 viewers on X and more than 400,000 on Rumble. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, who rarely gives public interviews, appeared on the broadcast to discuss Kirk's contributions to the Trump campaign and administration. Other top Trump deputies, including Caroline Leavitt, Stephen Miller, Taylor Budowich, and Kaylin Dorr, appeared in the first hour of the show. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, and Andrew Colvett, Kirk's friend and spokesman, also appeared on the show. Vance announced plans to host the show with a photo on social media of a podcast microphone flanked by the American flag and the flag of the vice president, a display that highlighted the remarkable ways he has used his office to honor the legacy of his 31-year-old friend and political ally. After Kirk was fatally shot at a Utah campus on Wednesday, Vance cleared his schedule to transport his casket to Phoenix on Air Force Two. Vance spoke with Erica Kirk, Kirk's widow, for an hour about his legacy, and said he was inspired to be a better husband and father. He also wrote a lengthy post commemorating a friendship that began when Kirk sent him a Twitter message about an appearance on Fox News several years ago. Vance has described Kirk as central to his rise within Republican politics and later Trump's inner circle. Kirk was one of the first people he called when he began to consider a Senate run in 2021, he has said, adding that Kirk later introduced him to Donald Trump Jr. Kirk also publicly and privately advocated for Trump to pick Vance for his ticket in the 2024 race. So much of the success we've had in this administration traces directly to Charlie's ability to organize and convene, Vance wrote last week. He didn't just help us win in 2024, he helped us staff the entire government. Since Kirk's death, his podcast has soared in rankings and was listed Monday as the top show on Apple News. On Friday, Kirk's co-workers and friends hosted an episode of the show honoring his legacy, leaving Kirk's usual chair empty in his honor. The podcast also broadcast a message from Erica Kirk, who committed to carry on her husband's legacy. Erica Kirk began her remarks with gratitude for Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance, calling the vice president her husband's dear friend. "You guys honored my husband so well bringing him home," she said. Drew Harwell contributed to this report.